Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Write this down. Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, the only show in America with the cojones, the stones, the grapefruits enough to put statistics next to our predictions. You can clown us and let us know how wrong we were. I thought Judd was getting clapped for some stuff on Twitter this week. Being wrong, was it Twin stuff? Oh, it was your Buxton MVP stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That you had written, was it Substack or just a tweet?
No, I just tweeted that he should be in the conversation.
Wrong.
And I was told, no, they got to win more, which is theoretically not true. But, yeah, it's fine. You know what? When you tweet stuff like that, you're inviting it, and I enjoy it. So
all you said was in the conversation. Like we all know that Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge are clearly above him, which is fine. It's fine, but in the conversation is nothing like scandalous in my opinion.
Yeah,
in the conversations,
Judge.
It's also a funny, like, kind of vague ground to play in with a take, because like Aaron Judge is the clear-cut MVP of the American League, and but Byron Buxton belongs in the conversation.
What that means is that when they're talking about contenders, he should be mentioned, and he's not. So like he should be brought up. What he's doing is pretty damn incredible. So I just said that. I said what I said, and I of course got huge pushback. Well, the biggest one, of course, is he'll just be hurt, so who cares?
Well,
okay,
yeah. If bold take. That Byron Buxton's going to get hurt. We know. Okay, we'll save all that stuff for the OG edition of Write That Down, probably some Twins predictions. But this Purple Daily and Write That Down every week is presented by North American Banking Company, which can give you a better banking experience with their 6 locations in the Twin Cities. It's a Minnesota-based bank since 1998. So basically, ever since the Vikings broke the offensive record for most points scored, North American Banking Company has been along for that same amount of time. And if you're looking for whether it's checking and savings, kind of the blocking and tackling of banking, or something bigger like financing a big project, a car, a home, all those things, check them out. nabankco.com/Mackey. nabankco.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Write this down.
So if you're new, here's how this works every week on Purple Daily. Write that down. It's 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody on the show and a guest listener predictor. They must be quantifiable in some way. We keep track of completion percentages and touchdowns. A touchdown it's a little subjective, but if it's like a 25% chance or less to hit, then it kind of flags the touchdown category. And sometimes we have to take it to Write That Down court, and it gets messy. Listeners, if you want to be like Aaron and participate as a guest listener predictor, you can hit Declan up through the Score North app, and we can get you scheduled sometime. All right, guys, only one thing came off the board collectively because we are in the absolute dead of the offseason in terms of actionable things coming off the board. But training camp starts next week. Judd's camp notes will be on the ground, so we can start making those predictions. So in the absence of things coming off the board, we'll highlight some things that are still on the board. Judd, you said the 2025 Bears will make the playoffs. Are you still confident?
When did I say that? I'm not doubting I said it. I
think it was in the spring, like February, March.
Okay.
When they hired Ben Johnson.
Okay.
Saw Caleb Williams put some nice little selfies out the other day.
I think I made that
new nail color. Very exciting.
Yeah. I think I made that prediction because I do think the division's going to be strong. So I think that prediction was more of I do think the North is going to be a gauntlet. I think it's going to be very tough, but I think it's going to be good too. So
yesterday on O-Line Committee, we went through, I saw this floating around Twitter again, Bill Parcells' 11 quarterback commandments from like back in the 80s or the 90s.
It's great.
And it's like all these are 11 things that you need to be or do as a quarterback to be a great quarterback. Mm-hmm. And it's everything from leadership to how you keep yourself in shape and all these things. And give or take of the 11, Caleb Williams whiffs on like 9 of them. Protect the football, don't take sacks, don't panic and run out of the pocket. Don't be a celebrity quarterback who's all about me, all these things.
Yeah.
So, but good luck to you.
I was going to say, I might be wrong too, which, by the way, I'm fine.
Okay, I have this one still on the board. I said the Vikings will start 4-1 or 5-0 in the first 5 games of the season. I think if Darrisaw is going to be out for the first handful of games, this makes me a little more nervous, but
Yeah.
On paper, man, those first 4 or 5 games, like you got to make some hay. Because then on paper, the schedule gets way harder into like October, November.
Correct.
Okay, listeners had one thing come off the board, and it actually came off the board like 3 months ago. I just missed this one. So Brett said the Vikings will draft one of these 3 running backs, R.J. Harvey, Trevion Henderson, and or DJ Giddens. They did not. They didn't draft any running backs. And then Declan has this one still on the board. You said between May 21st and the start of training camp, which is just in a few days, the Vikings will add a player to their roster with 5 years of NFL experience.
Dex, how you feeling about that?
At this point, probably not great.
Who's the candidate at this point? Like
I have a prediction.
A surprise quarterback entrance or something?
I actually have a prediction, but it's and I guess it's hedging this a little bit, but I do like the idea of adding a third running back, but that's probably still later than it is like in the next week.
Yeah. I believe your ship has sailed on this for now, but that doesn't mean it can't happen before the end of training camp or right before the season.
Yep.
So, yeah, I just don't see them. Like if they are going to monitor the cornerback situation, and let's just say Stephon Gilmore, who's still out there, and by the way, came out on a podcast said he wants to play.
Yeah.
But he's going to be a couch guy for 2 weeks. Like he ain't coming into the start of training camp, and they probably don't want him right now. It was interesting. Gilmore's comments were very targeted. He's like, I want to play, but it has to be for the right team. And the Vikings did give him the sweetheart, hey, spend the first part of training camp in air conditioning, working out, but you're catching some TV too. You're staying fresh. So I think the ship has sailed on the potential for this to happen before training camp.
But do you think, like, in terms of the Stephon Gilmore ship sailing at some point, what's the % chance Stephon Gilmore is a Viking before September? Greater than 0?
Yeah, it's greater than 0. I mean, I wouldn't put the odds at huge because I think they want to see how the competition shakes out. And if all goes according to plan in their world, I think they probably roll with the guys that they have currently.
Yeah.
But Gilmore's comments intrigue me because what would be easier than to sign back here, having missed a big portion of training camp? You know the system. And I'm not saying he's great. He didn't have a great year. But he is fine. But exactly, he's a veteran. He's a veteran who knows what he's doing and executed the scheme.
I think at this point, because he's like, what is he, 34, 35?
Yeah.
Obviously, his productivity is going to just keep dropping as he gets older, and his ceiling is going to be lower. I think the Vikings are trying to hit a home run with Isaiah Rodgers. Like Isaiah, it's possible that right now, in this system, in this moment, that a mid-30s Stephon Gilmore is just a safer and better player than Isaiah Rodgers. But Isaiah Rodgers, because of his age and just his skill set, his speed, all these things, if he taps into like the 90th percentile of what he's capable, if Flores can get that out of him, you're talking about someone who's way better than last year's version of Stephon Gilmore. But there is some risk.
If I'm the Vikings, I'm more concerned about the third guy though. So like, because I think that Rodgers is actually going to thrive, but
like Blackman or
Okudah or Blackman. Yeah. Blackman missed a year. And Okudah to me is a complete wild card. Okudah is the crazy guy, right? He's the guy who's like, okay, former high draft pick. He's sort of crapped out now. Now we're going to take him and see. But Okudah could be an outside corner in the nickel on opening night against the Bears. He also could be a cut casualty at any point. Like the variance there to me is absolutely huge.
Yep, that's fair. Okay, that's Declan. And then, because the listeners were the only ones that had something come off, the standings haven't really changed much. The Super Bowl is the cutoff for the season, so we have several months left until the end of the season here. So plenty of things coming off the board during the actual football season, but I'm at 58.8% completions, Judd 45.5, Declan 36%, listeners 26.7. Mackie, Judd, we have 3 touchdowns apiece. Declan with 2. Listeners still without a touchdown. All-time stats, Declan leads with a 36.7% completion rate. I have the touchdown lead by 1 over the listeners with 61. So there's your accountability session. Let's get Aaron in here, making his debut on Write That Down. Aaron, where are you at, and when did you become a Vikings fan? Give us your backstory, man.
Okay, yeah, I'm in Montreal, so Canadian Vikings fans up here. But I grew up in Saskatchewan, which is the province north of North Dakota / Montana. And in Saskatchewan, at least in my circles, no one gives a rip about the NFL. They're diehard, bleed green Saskatchewan Roughriders CFL fans, but no one gives a rip. But I did have a buddy who was like vaguely NFL aware. And he showed me a highlight that it turns out it was week 1, 2009 against the Browns. Showed me this crazy running back. It's probably that you guys probably know the run.
Oh, yeah.
It's of AP throwing a guy at the sideline like he's a rag doll. I was like, who is this freak monster of a guy? Learned he broke the single game rushing record. So I started looking into it a bit more. And so that was the fall of 2009. Very intriguing year. And I remember consciously making a decision. I didn't like fall into fandom. It's like when people say like love is a choice. I was like, I've decided I'm going to be a Vikings fan. And it was in the fall. It was early enough that I was my brother got me a Vikings jersey for Christmas that year. So it was not the playoff run. Poetically, they hooked me right before the playoff run to have my new love break my heart immediately.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
And little did you know, 15 years later, you'd be debating whether you should drop some money on an Adrian Peterson boxing pay-per-view.
Yeah. That's it. So that's the story. Yeah.
That's an awesome story. That run he had a few of those runs in 2009, and that was a great one. I think that was on the cover of SI, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He made the cover that Browns game, and in fact, that's the year that the first 2 games Peterson was a monster. Like Favre was okay, he was fine, didn't do a ton, and Peterson was an absolute monster out there. So that's a good hook there. That's very similar in some ways to the 98 Moss hook for a ton of fans, right? It's like the team's okay, but this player is phenomenal.
Yeah. It's also kind of fascinating that I feel like Minnesota should be the adopted NFL team, unless you're like Toronto, then Buffalo, obviously. But if you're anywhere, or I guess if you're in Vancouver,
Seattle.
You're probably a Seattle fan. But pretty much anything centralized in Canada, the Vikings should be your adopted NFL team.
Yeah. It's Bills, Seahawks, Vikings, probably, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. From what I found, even though like I lived in Hamilton, which is just outside of Toronto, for a little while, and people weren't really Bills fans either. It was odd.
They're Argonaut fans, right?
Yeah, I guess Argos. No one. So also the CFL is really big in like Winnipeg and Saskatchewan, and maybe Calgary, but like not really. So Toronto is just like Leafs, and they don't give a rip about anything.
And the Leafs are kind of the hockey Vikings.
They are.
So
they are. Yeah.
So, well, awesome backstory. Aaron, we're going to start with you with your first prediction, and then we'll go to Judd, over to Dex, back to me. We'll make 3 trips around the room as usual. So if you're ready, you are under center. Let's rock it.
I'm ready. Write this down. Jordan Mason will start at least 5 games in this regular season.
Okay.
Yeah. Off the record, probably going to be injury, but I actually think he's gonna take the starting role. So I'm going to say at least 5 games this regular season.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways that could
Write this down.
come to fruition. Judd?
All right, I'm going to rifle off some predictions here. Way too early, perhaps, but I'm still going to rifle them off. The Washington Commanders will win the NFC East this season.
Oh, just going to
come
right out with it. Okay.
They're going to jump Philadelphia. Hard to come back after. Like, I could see the Eagles still being a playoff team. But, that's a lot to come back from. I like where the Commanders are trending. I like their quarterback, as we'll get to in my next prediction. So I'm going with Washington to win the NFC East.
Is this an all Commanders slate of write that down predictions for the Sports Dad today?
No.
Just two?
It'll be two. I'll start with two, and then I'll come back with a third one that will have nothing to do with the nation's capital.
Okay.
Write this down.
All right, we were kind of talking about it there during our accountability session, but write this down. Mekhi Blackmon. I'm gonna borrow this from Drew, who was on with me on Ventline over the last week. He was very high on Mekhi Blackmon having a bounce back year, so I'll use this prediction. Mekhi Blackmon will be the highest rated Vikings cornerback in Week 1, according to PFF.
Okay.
So
bit of a parlay that he'll
have to play enough.
He'll win the third
Yeah.
cornerback job over. Is it a competition between him and Okudah? How would you characterize it, Judd?
Okudah was the first guy. I think Blackmon, because he's coming back, I think it could turn into a competition. Right. I think it's going to start off with Okudah being the top guy, but as Blackmon gets back into playing and all that good stuff, I think it becomes a competition. It makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Write this down.
Write this down.
A guy we haven't talked about much because he's kind of graduated from like Judd's camp notes under the radar guy to being a projected starter, Theo Jackson, but not to be forgotten about in this prediction. Theo Jackson will intercept a pass documented by reporters in one of the first 2 days of practice. So it'd be Wednesday or Thursday next week, right? Those are the first 2 days where media can watch. Fans can't show up till Saturday.
Correct.
A week from Saturday. But Judd's guy Theo Jackson will have a documented interception. Could be in, I know they're not in full pads yet, but they'll do some 11 on 11. They'll do some situational stuff probably in those first two practices. Theo Jackson's going to pick off a pass.
All right.
It's a lot of install stuff early, but I still think he's going to flash.
Sure.
He's my guy.
He is your guy.
Write this down.
All right, back to Aaron.
Okay. I think KOC is a great coach. So I'm going to say after every regular season and playoff loss this season, if applicable, Kevin O'Connell will say in the post-game press conference, I need to do better, or a reasonably equivalent phrase judged by you guys.
That's awesome.
So this is not we need to do better or the coaching staff need to do better. KOC will personally fall on the sword after every relevant loss in some way in the post-game press conference.
Don't point the finger, pull the thumb, right?
Exactly.
That's on me.
Yeah.
So it
I
could
could
be
have done
I,
better.
an I, a me, but a we doesn't count.
A we doesn't count. No.
Yeah.
An I or a me,
Personally falling on the sword.
it's my responsibility.
Yep.
Okay.
I take full responsibility for that. I didn't give JJ enough of a chance. Yeah, there's a lot of ways we could go here.
I should have listened to Sports Dad when dialing up that unnecessary wide receiver reverse pass in the third quarter.
Yeah, exactly right. Across
Handing
field,
the ball off to my second tight end in a 4th and 1 situation.
Yeah, I shouldn't have snapped the ball to Josh Oliver. That didn't work. That's my fault.
Write this down.
Okay, back to Judd.
All right, so I'm taking a little bit of a risk here because there is always the chance for second-year regression, but what the hell? Jaden Daniels will be the NFL MVP this season.
Wow, dude.
Now, I'm a little bit concerned about that because, we have seen a lot of QBs get off to great starts, CJ Stroud, and then it's not they're bad, but they just take a little bit of a step back. But I'm going to go for broke. Jaden Daniels, the NFL MVP this season.
This is a bit of a hedge because Judd does have a prediction from, I think, way earlier in the calendar year that Joe Burrow will be the NFL
I'm going to go
MVP
through every
for
quarterback.
2025.
By the time we're done, I'm going to get every quarterback.
I will say, so the favorites for an MVP, Lamar plus 500, Josh Allen plus 600, Mahomes is plus 600, so is Burrow. In third place is Jaden Daniels at plus 750, and then there's a huge drop-off after Jaden Daniels. Justin Herbert at plus 2,000. So right now, those 5 quarterbacks are by far the favorites
I'm taking
to
them
win
all.
NFL MVP. Yeah,
Judd's
just keep
gonna
making
go
one
right
each
down
week.
that list.
Next week, it'll be Pat Mahomes, no question.
Zero question whatsoever. Yeah.
Write this down.
All right, Dex.
All right, write this down. We tease it again during the accountability session. The Vikings will add a veteran running back with at least 3 years of NFL experience between now and kickoff of Week 1.
Do you think they call the Saints about Cam Akers in like 3 weeks?
They
just
could.
Not even an offer. Just to check in. How's our
Cam
guy doing?
How's Cam
his
doing?
family? Yeah.
I feel this probably won't come off the board until closer to the end date of the week 1, which I'm projecting here. But I do think they'll add someone, a Cam Akers type, for the 3rd time. But I don't think it's Ty Chandler. I think it's the waiver claim. We kind of talked about that yesterday. But they will add a veteran running back, 3 years of NFL experience between now and the kickoff of week 1. Write it down.
Okay.
Write this down.
Okay, let's stick with the camp predictions here. Are you going to be tracking like field goal statistics, Judd's camp notes? To what extent do you track like Big Leg Bill?
I wouldn't.
It's tough.
Yeah, it depends if there's officials there to mark it. The issue is if he's doing it if that's the only thing, then I track it. But if it's like part of like he's on a different field, so it's I would not put full faith in making a prediction that could cost you a point.
That's fair. No, I'll pivot. I don't want to put too much pride. I also don't want to alter. Judd's camp notes has a process, and I don't want to put pressure.
I don't
on him.
want him to go rogue and do something untoward because he decides that he's trying to screw his buddy Phil. That wouldn't be nice.
No, it's fair. So, all right, I'll go to the regular season here with Will Reichert. I think he made his first 14 field goals last season without missing. So write this down. He's going to do something similar this year, and that he will. I'm a little nervous about the footing in Dublin. Feel like the turf might be a little interesting. They've never played an NFL game in Dublin before, but I'm going to say he makes at least his first 10 field goals. So he'll go at least 10 for 10 before he misses one. Big leg
Just
Bill.
field goals.
Just field goals. He could miss 10 extra points. It would not count toward this prediction. Of course, if that happens, he might not get to see his 10th field goal attempt with the Vikings. But I think we're going to see a nice little hot start, a little bounce back from Big Leg Bill.
Write this down.
I like it.
Write it down. Okay, back to Aaron for his 3rd and final prediction.
Yeah, I gotta show the CFL some love. We're in the middle of the regular season right now, so my beloved Saskatchewan Roughriders are playing BC on Saturday. My head says BC, but I gotta go with my heart. So the Saskatchewan Roughriders will beat the BC Lions on Saturday.
Wow, Judd, what do you like best about Saskatchewan's defense this season?
What I love is that there was once in this league 2 teams with the same name. It was what there was Saskatchewan Rough Riders 1 word, and then there was another one that was 2 words.
We had
that was my
Rough
favorite.
Riders.
Yeah.
There used to be 2.
Yeah, Ottawa back in the day. So Ottawa was the Ottawa Rough Riders, and then Ottawa folded, and then they came back as the Ottawa Renegades, and then they folded again, and now they're back again as the Ottawa Red Blacks.
The Red Blacks. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what I love, though. Two teams, same name, separated by one was 1 word, and one used Rough Riders as 2 words.
I feel like in college sports, there's a million Wildcats. Like, is it Kansas State, Kentucky? Yeah. It's like Wildcats.
Yep.
But Rough Riders seems like it's obscure enough to where you'd think there'd only be one. But apparently we need more Rough Riders in the CFL sports. So, Aaron, great stuff. Great backstory. Since you've got this platform here, would you like to shout anyone out or thank anyone that helped you get here today?
You know what? I got to thank my buddy Kelly Vance, who I think he lives in Denver now, but I haven't seen him in a very long time. But he showed me an Adrian Peterson highlight. And so I'm gonna thank him for this journey that I'm on. So
love that. Yeah. Awesome. Aaron, great work. Hopefully we can do it again sometime. Enjoy training camp. Enjoy the preseason.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
All right. Before we get to our final predictions and also another nugget as we continue to preview Judd's camp notes leading into Vikings training camp, MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning powering us on Purple Daily.
Yep. And the past few days, it's been hot. It's been sticky. And if your AC is not functioning at full strength, or heck, it's out completely, guess what? That is no way to live. And that is why your next call should be to our friends at MSP. In fact, get this, AC tune-up, only $49. That's right, a tune-up, $49. Repairs, installs, reliable service. Those are the things that MSP is all about. And if you want to talk about the heating for winter as well, ask about their Total Comfort Club membership too, so that you know that your home system will be taken care of all year long. MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Sports Dad trusts them. So should you. Call MSP.com or give them a call, 651-615-4292.
So that's the HVAC part of your home. How about the aesthetic part of your home? Minnesota Rusco has been Minnesota's hometown remodeler since 1955. 70 years of experience. You can count on Minnesota Rusco for anything interior, exterior. There's that remodel project, those windows, bathrooms, roofing. You've been thinking, man, we got to get that deck replaced, whatever it may be. Well, July is a great time to pounce on that remodel that you've been thinking about through Minnesota Rusco. Whether it's kitchens, bathrooms, windows, siding, roofing, decks, doors, all of those things are 15% off the entire month of July. No payments, no interest for 12 months. So if you're ready to finally get on with that project that you've been thinking about and putting off, our friends at Minnesota Rusco, you can even just do like an informational conversation. Go to minnesotarusco.com and talk to the experts who've been serving Minnesotans since 1955. All right, you guys.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Judd, what's your final prediction?
All right. Final prediction in sort of the vein of what Dex talked about and the fact that Kwesi has a tell, which is he loves to pick up a former high draft pick and kick the tires. And sometimes they kick the tires and then they kick the guy right to the curb. Mm-hmm. So write this down. The Vikings will pick up, because there's several ways that this could go, so I don't want to say like a trade or one certain way. The Vikings will pick up a former first or second round pick before the regular season starts. So just a guy gets cut, a guy that something happens, and they say, hey, you know what? Let's take a look at this dude. So I will have it be a former first or second round pick the Vikings will obtain in some way.
Okay.
Between now and week 1?
Yeah, exactly. It has to be before the Monday night game against the Bears. It can't be after that.
Okay.
Dax?
Write this down.
Man, we're just making Commanders daily podcasts here. I'll make a Commanders related prediction too. Judd made 2. I'll make 1. Wow. Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry. He wants a new contract, and he'll get a new contract. So write this down. He'll have a new contract before week 1. They'll pay their guy. They have to. They have to. I don't know why. I understand he wants a new deal.
You sat by him once.
I hung out with him once. Hung out as in that's Scary Terry drinking a glass of red wine before he has to start a season
drinks
with Carson Wentz. I don't blame you at all.
At?
In DC. I was in town for a funeral, and we were like bar hopping the Friday night before a funeral, because that's what the Goff McKenna family does.
An independent film.
And we were at, I think, like a 4 Seasons. Mm-hmm. Like we walked in, we couldn't find a place that wasn't like because we were like in the heart of Georgetown area, so it was a bunch of college bars, and I'm with my siblings who are older than me, and so we walked into a 4 Seasons. I look over, and there's Scary Terry enjoying a nice glass of red. Again, he had to play with Carson Wentz that year, so I don't blame him for having a glass of red before kicking off a football season.
That sounds like an independent film. You're there for a funeral. You go out and just get trashed the night before. It sounds like a great film.
I want to see Judd put together a screenplay for that.
Barstool did a snake draft this week of worst places to be hungover, and a funeral was like near the top of their board. Now, I wasn't in rough shape for that funeral, and I genuinely don't think I have. I have been hungover in some terrible situations, but it's never been at a funeral. That would be rough. That would be a very rough spot.
You can lay pretty low at a funeral, though.
I got the worst one because I experienced it. It's honest to God is the worst thing to ever happen. Hungover in St. Louis, going on the Budweiser tour, and smelling the what's the beer, like all the hops and crap.
Yeah, I did that a couple months ago. It was a fun tour.
No,
were you hungover?
I was hungover to beat hell, underage as well, but hungover to beat hell. I was awful. Like, yes, the tour is great. I'm not saying the tour is, but I'm saying imagine you feel sick already, and then you have to smell like beer products. Oh my God,
I don't mind like having to smell beer products hungover. I would say being on a plane feel very trapped.
That's the worst.
Start sweating
because it's like your hangover could manifest in any number of different ways.
Yeah,
and you're just like in this tube for 2 or 3 hours. crammed up next
Vegas,
to strangers.
coming back from Vegas.
That's exactly what happened to me. Yes.
I mean, it happens to everybody. I think come back from Vegas.
It's I don't know. There's something. Yeah, it's just like claustrophobic and the whole thing. That'd be a fun. We should steal that snake draft at some point. We won't do it this week because it'd be too blatant. But let's wait like 2 or 3 weeks. We could steal it.
Write this down.
Right. You know what? I'll make it a trio of. I guess it would be a quadrant, a quattro. I'm gonna make the 4th Washington Commanders prediction here on the show today. I'm gonna fade them. I think there's gonna be a little sophomore slump. I don't think they're gonna be terrible, but I could see like a 9-8 miss the playoff situation for the Commanders. I'm gonna say the Commanders miss the playoffs.
Okay.
They're gonna miss the playoffs. Yeah.
Okay.
And they got a gimme in week 1 home against the Giants, but then it's at Green Bay. Then they play a feisty Vegas team coached by Pete Carroll. That is not an easy out. At Atlanta, they should be favored there, but they have to go at the Chargers, at the Chiefs before November.
Yep.
They've got a game at the Vikings in December, and then 2 of their last 3 games on the season are against Philadelphia, including a road game in Week 18. So pretty tough little schedule.
Should
they
I
got
just
the
make
Lions
this
on the schedule.
for SEO purposes and discovering new fans? Should I just make the headline Washington Commanders predictions instead of Minnesota Vikings predictions, just to see what happens?
Yes.
Just to
Let's hook those new
Until they
Washington
get to
fans
Phil's.
into a Vikings podcast.
Until they get to Phil's prediction, and then they're like, "This guy's an a-hole."
They somehow made it 30 minutes into this rambling
sure they
prediction
enjoyed it.
podcast. This
Sure they
Vikings
enjoyed
podcast.
it.
So those are the predictions every week. The only
Write
show
it down. You like writing things down.
and the OG edition on Mackie and Judd and the Score North YouTube channel that actually puts stats next to our predictions. So, Judd, you have a Judd's Camp Notes preview item here. After we say hello to Meadows at Mystic, you're looking for a good time on the Lynx Meadows at Mystic decks.
Yeah, it's been really hot, and I like to golf in the heat. Now it's cooled down a little bit, so if you were worried about, I don't want to be sweating out there as you're shooting 110 like I am, or you're breaking 80, go to golfthemeadows.com. Book that tee time. Plus, they have an amazing patio outside, a huge, expansive patio. Plus the pro shop. This is not your rinky-dink, there's like a sleeve of balls, that's it. No, they got full-on apparel. They have tees. They have balls. They have plenty of great stuff in their pro shop. Go book your next tee time, and if you're coming up for a Vikings game, make a stop. Go to golfthemeadows.com to book that tee time.
All right. What is the Judd's Camp Notes preview item of the day here?
It is the running back position. And the preview is this. What I think is going to be, just from a training camp perspective, extremely interesting to watch is twofold, okay? One, it's not a competition, but it's going to be how they split the carries, the snaps in training camp, and how they use Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones. For instance, I think that they're going, I'm not saying it's going to be super creative, but I think there are going to be packages where perhaps they're on the field together at times and one is split out wide. I think we're going to see, I teased this to Dex because I saw it a little bit in the offseason practices. I think you should keep an eye on Jordan Mason as far as catching some passes. I don't know if he's bad at it or he's never been asked to do it before. And there's a huge difference there. There's a huge gap there.
I actually think that answers itself. Like if you were at a big time college for a handful of years and a small handful of years in the NFL, and also like the incumbent starting running back was out. It's not like Christian McCaffrey was in there catching passes and Jordan, like he just doesn't get the ball through the air, I think, because of him. And there was a great 49ers blog. Declan found a link, I think, a couple days ago or last week, where they kind of broke this down from a fantasy football perspective when he was with San Francisco, that hey, he's not like a trust. You can't put him out there every down because to this point he has not been a trustworthy pass. I don't think you make it this far and you're really good at that thing that's really important for being a running back. And no team in college, no coaching staff in the NFL leverages it for their own offensive game. I think it's more of a him problem. But
we'll find out, and I'm curious. He did. I will say this: there was 1 or 2 times in the off-season practices he was split out wide. So clearly, they think like O'Connell's going to test it. I think because if you can have, I think we talked about this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. If you're totally predictable in how guys are used, it becomes an issue because then it's a complete tell. So he might not be great, but I don't think he's going to be. I think the training camp practices are going to shed some light on that. So one, I think that's extremely intriguing. Two is I am curious to see how they split up the snaps now, because previously it was like a year ago, Aaron Jones got the work that they deemed necessary. And that doesn't mean that he was out there constantly, but this is going to be far more of a 1A, 1B thing. And then the most interesting thing, and we discussed this on the show yesterday with Doogie, is who is the third running back? So right now on the depth chart or on the roster, you've got Ty Chandler, obviously, Xavier Scott, who was a practice squad guy throughout last season. He was in training camp with the Colts. He was cut and then signed with the Vikings to the practice squad. So he's been here, but he certainly didn't get a chance. And then Trey Stewart, who was a UFA from Jacksonville State, who was signed last spring. So like behind Chandler, there's no guy who is completely prepared to pop here, which does leave the door open for, as Dex predicted, signing a guy as well. I think the running back position, though, and I think the depth especially, is going to be extremely interesting to watch unfold. And this will be the first time that O'Connell legitimately has a 1A and 1B and has to get them both reps, and we sort of get to see how they're going to be used. So I think the running back position as a whole in training camp, if you're going as a fan starting next Saturday, will be very interesting to monitor.
Yeah. And this is probably the first time that Kevin O'Connell, going into year 4, has had all the tools and necessities at his disposal to have a good running game. An offensive line that now you've spent 3 years evaluating, moving some guys out, hand-picking some guys to come in. You got a veteran center. You got this Will Fries coming in, who in the first 5 weeks of last season was one of the highest graded guards in the entire league before the injury. And you've got 2 viable running backs, which you didn't really have certainly last year. Ty Chandler and Cam Akers were not great compliments to Aaron Jones. So you've got all these things. You got the best blocking tight end in the NFL in Josh Oliver that you just signed to an extension, and a passing game that I think, because you have to pay so much attention to Justin Jefferson and the other weapons, Addison, TJ Hawkinson, it actually helps your running game in that regard. So if they still can't run the ball, I think for the first time, then all eyes would turn toward Kevin O'Connell and schematically, what are we doing here? There's some really creative and effective running games out there among his peers. Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniels in Miami too. So this would be the first time that I think he would be fully on the hook for, all right, you got everything you need. What's going on here? Why can't you score a touchdown on the ground?
I think it's also essential to J.J. McCarthy's success that play action plays a big role, because play action is going to he can thrive off of that, but to have play action work, a team has to be threatened that you're actually going to pound the rock. And a year ago in training camp, the Vikings basically spent the whole time trying to state a case that they could walk the walk of smash mouth offensive football. And at the end of the day, they really couldn't. Well, now they can walk the walk. They can talk the talk. They got it all together.
Wow. Great football diatribe there.
It's incredibly important. If you want to win in January, like O'Connell learned that, this has to work. Like, you have to make it work.
Yep.
It's as important as the passing game, because to your point, it's what can make the passing game thrive.
Yep. Yeah, it kind of feels like Jacksonville State guy is a practice squad guy. Ty Chandler is very much a cut candidate, and I think you guys are both sniffing around the right solution here, which is there's a third running back out there that will probably be on the 53-man roster that isn't currently on their 90-man training camp roster. Mm-hmm. Someone who's like a UDFA that's a borderline cut guy that you could bring in. We'll see. So Judd's camp notes, firing up the preview material.
Can't wait.
We'll do more training camp preview stuff on Thursday tomorrow. And we didn't get to he had a 2026 initial mock draft out. So we can get to that. He's very excited about firing up the mock for next year already. And then maybe some more Ask Thor Anything stuff tomorrow as well. And then get your feedback Friday questions in. A lot of comments, a couple snubs from the all bust list on Monday. 2 in particular that I feel like, yeah, we definitely should.
Do we have the ability to go back and alter that? Because I feel like there's one in particular that we really need to put on that list.
The tight end or the kicker?
The tight end.
Yeah.
The kicker we can discuss. The tight end but like I forgot.
I did too.
And
totally,
it was a bad oversight.
At a position that we were trying to figure out, like,
I know.
who's the third guy?
I'm sort of pissed off at us.
Yeah. It's on us. It's on us. It's on us. We need to be better. Yeah.
That's my fault.
Pull the thumb. Don't point the finger. Pull the thumb.
Okay, it's your fault.
Pull the thumb. Turn it to the other guy. It's your fault. All right, Purple Daily. As we count down the days until training camp, football season is officially here. And also a reminder, too, we'll talk more about this in August, but we are going to be at the Minnesota State Fair every single weekday starting that first Thursday. It's like August 21st or 2nd, that first Thursday of the Minnesota State Fair, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday through Friday. Purple Daily every single day. We'll be live also on YouTube, and we'd love to see as many of you as possible. We've got our own Score North booth that we're putting together. And we'll be doing a bunch of other Score North podcasts from the State Fair, too. So it's our first time back at the State Fair since 2019, which was the first year of Score North. And Judd and I used to do the old 1500 ESPN radio show out there, too. But we're looking forward to it. We're going to get Judd enthused about it over the next few weeks.
Pronto pups, baby.
No, I'm enthused about going to do the show. I told you, it's two very different things. I'm enthused about the show. It's going to be fun to see folks. I have no interest in walking around the fair. They're two very different things.
I think we're going to get you to do at least a couple laps around the fair. A couple sports dad laps.
If you'll buy the beers.
Masses.
If you'll buy.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I got you.
In fact, let's expense them.
I saw the comment. Dex's Fair Notes. Fair Notes.
I think I love that idea.
If you give me the company card or the personal card, yeah, I'll just walk by and, hey guys, look what I found today.
The company card, no question about it.
Let's do. We're going to do a bunch of Mackie and Judd podcasts out there too. I think Mackie and Judd can just be devoted to like Dex's Fair Notes.
I love that.
Observations about whatever. All right, you guys. Purple Daily. We'll see you tomorrow for a Thursday. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.